Since the legalization of marijuana, the world has really changed. My whole perspective is different.
How's that, Tim?
Sounds great, man. I'm
We're live. So I don't know if you guys hear echo, but Tim and I are in the same room. We're in the middle of setting up a studio, and this is our first broad. We've actually tried this since about 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's now 5:30 in the evening. So it's been a long day, Tim. How you doing?
Dude, doing phenomenal, man. Feeling good.
So what's going on, man?
No, I didn't hit the gummies. I'm just saying. I'm feeling okay.
Well, Tim's allowed to do the gummies because of his arm. Show him this deal, bro.
Jeez, yeah. Okay, everybody wants to know.
What are you gonna tell people how you got that? Do you say you got like in a knife fight with like MS-13, or
no? It's
you had to defend your wife in like a gang attack, or
no? It's my ninja goat. You know the story, man. Come on.
I don't know if I would use that story. I would come up with a better story.
Yeah, you're
that's
right about
a pretty
that.
serious cut. Like my daughter was carrying trash up the stairs and cut her leg so bad she had to get like 8 stitches, and we were discussing what the story was going to be, because you can't say you're carrying trash bag and it was glass sticking out of it and you need a better story. You know what I mean?
That's true. I was locked in a shed in Costco, and I had to break my way out of the shed. That's how it happened.
I'm just saying, yourself. Okay.
Snagged myself, breaking through the window, and then the people were screaming, and then they thought I was like, there were kids involved. It was not good, Brian. I'm just saying. Yeah.
So Tim, the news is that Russia, China, India, Brazil, and
Saudi Arabia
got together in an attempt to start their own currency or somehow go against our currency. And people are saying like we need to dig a bunker and store food and learn how to catch catfish.
What they're trying to do is break the dominance of the dollar, right? So think about it. The dollar has been the if you will, stable currency since World War II.
Yeah, like 60% of countries in the world have their reserves in dollars. Is that correct?
That's correct. And so the question now is, because of the amount of dollars that have been printed, paper currency, which is not
we're causing inflation for them.
And so it's going across the board. Now they forget to realize that they also printed a boatload of currency too, right? But they're trying
is this more political then? Like they're trying to hurt us?
It's more political because they're trying to take the power away from us, because they're concerned of what we basically did to Russia. We blew Russia's economy up, right? It's in the tank.
Well,
because of their war with Ukraine, if you will, right? So China's looking at this saying, "Holy chamoli! If we invade Taiwan and they do the same thing, we'll have the same impact, right?" I mean, so start thinking about, look all the way around. And we do have a certain amount of power, and basically, if you go way back to World War II, that happened with the Germans and the German Deutschmark. So it is a power play, and in today's economy, it's the primary way of bringing down a country.
Oh, that's exciting. So the largest country in the world and the second largest country in the world, each with 1 billion people, got together with Russia, which we don't know what we even want to describe them as, and then Brazil, which is probably the largest country, the biggest economy in South America.
It's one of the largest, between them and Argentina.
And then Saudi Arabia is one of the largest economies in the Middle East. So you have like all the continents, the leaders of all the continents got together, except for North America, and decided to unite against us. That's exciting.
It is exciting, but I also think it is basically a recognition of their weakness. Now, think this in mind. They recognize how weak and vulnerable that they are, that they have to propose a system-wide currency that's gonna knock everybody out. Now, in my opinion, it's going to backfire, because the United States, along with its partners like Mexico and Canada, are so significantly strong and can be independent of all.
I was hoping you could mention like Britain or like some other country, like maybe Australia. You mentioned like Mexico and Canada. Those are our two Those
are two of our largest trading partners. Think about that. Both of them have large natural resources.
I thought you meant like the unite on the dollar.
No, I'm talking about, from a standpoint of strong trading partners. Ultimately, North America could position itself and could be fully independent of the world.
All right. So as a layman, what do I need to do? Or what do I need to, how concerned should I be?
Well, we talked about this. We're at DEFCON 7,
we
right?
We talked about it on one of our 4 other videos that we recorded that didn't make it. So let's start over. Like, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, in the next 12 months, how concerned should I be about the economy over the next 12 months?
Sure. I think we're at DEFCON 7. We talked about this. I think inflation is going to continue to rise because of the amount of dollars that were pumped into the system. So when you have so much more money in the system, that money is going to be used to purchase items. People will start overbidding, and all of a sudden values will continue going up. I don't see inflation being under control. The Feds are coming back saying, whoa, we got to chill this.
Yeah, because they almost ruined the banking system.
Right. So, but they're going to say, I need to keep raising rates. They raise rates. They ruin the banks. Think about it.
Yeah.
Because the banks bought treasury bonds at 1.5%, 2.5%. And
I feel like Tim needs to be on like Jim Cramer.
Well, no,
I feel like some of this might be going over my head a little.
All I'm saying is they have investments at 2.5, et cetera. And when they need to borrow money, they're borrowing from the Feds at 5.
At 5, and then it's upside down. And
then what are you going to do? Cause more bank failures. So to me, it's a runaway. I don't get it. I understand the inflationary part, but the same token, I also understand that bank failures, not good. Recession, not good. Inflation, okay. Right?
All right. So in the meantime, Tim Scars from a goat. Tim started a farm. So maybe Tim knows something that we don't know.
Food stability, Brian, right?
We talked about this. So you buy. All right. So how do we start our farm?
So you come to Brian and say, Brian, I'm looking for a farmland. I'd like to buy a property.
You will die. We're all dead.
No, there's no alarm bells ringing off saying, hey, you got to start a farm. You have to have food stability. But let me ask you this. What's the price of eggs today?
I heard $4.
$4.
They were $5 at the farmer's market, but they're probably more expensive because they're organic.
That's my point. So my point is things have gone up dramatically. Egg prices, if you look at it, they're probably up threefold from just a few years back.
I mean, that's like one example. Like the cost of these sunglasses right here is still $20.
You know what amazing?
5 and below, and guess how much everything is?
I understand, but you know what amazes
how much
me
it is at the dollar store though. It went up to $1.25. It's no longer the dollar store; it's $1.25.
Ooh, that's a good point. But one of the things that scared me years ago, there was an article that came out and said at some point water will be more expensive than milk.
No. You buy a Life Straw and you go to the stream behind your house and you can just.
Well, that's my point. So the key in a nutshell is the farmers are supplemented by the United States government to sell their products at a reduced amount. Now go to Arizona, outside of Scottsdale, Arizona, where they have to buy their water because they have no public water in their systems. And you ask them, how much is my water costing me? It will blow your mind away. So what's that?
They don't have wells there.
They don't have wells, dude. They don't have water.
What about the whole rest of Arizona? Is that just Scottsdale, or
a lot of it is very, very dry? So what's that tell us? It tells us we need to be better at budgeting. Number one, we have to watch our expenses. We need to use our resources wisely. And yeah, you know what? Certain things we do have to do. You have to put water-saving toilets. You have water-saving shower systems. There are.
Tim, we don't have a water shortage in Maryland. You can flush away. You can get that like 4 gallons a flush and just. Yeah, we had like 80 inches of water, man.
Okay, I get it. But my point in the matter is back to you need to watch your resources. So that means, vehicles, what are you driving these days? How much are you spending on certain things? Watch your budget. And then more importantly, how can you get out there and raise more capital? Because honestly, I think you have to have multiple sources of income. We've talked about this.
Yeah. So you think people need to hunker down and be in a conservative mindset and be precautious?
I think they need to be cautious, but not hunker down. There's a difference. There was a famous baron back in the 1500s, Baron von Rothschild, who said,
"Oh, Baron von Rothschild, yes,
you remember him? Yes, we love him. Yes, we do." And Baron von Rothschild said, "You buy when there's blood in the streets."
Blood in the streets, he said.
And so, blood in the streets means when people stop buying, that's the time to buy, right? So it's like real estate. Everybody's like, "Oh, maybe I should wait for the collapse of real estate to occur. I'm not going to buy." Guys, I hate to tell you this, there's no collapse coming.
I will vouch for that. There is no collapse coming unless there's something that is not in the works.
Correct. Another pandemic. Okay, it might have a little bit of impact.
Right. Yep.
But the high end is going to have some correction. Someone said to me, the inventory is growing. And I said, yes, high end inventory is growing. The low end, the affordable is not. We need to explain this to all of our buyers out there and say, look, guys, here's the deal. Get out there and buy now. I know the rates are 6.5, whatever it is. Take advantage of the housing now, because when rates drop to 4, what happens to prices, Brian?
Well, theoretically, they could go down, because they're what would happen is a bunch of people would put their house for sale, assuming there is some sort of
more inventory, right? But more people are going to go out there to buy, because they're going to like, oh my God, rates are in the 4s. I better buy now before they go back to 6. So you're going to see more competition. You're going to see less closing assistance. You're going to see the same pattern we just had from 20 to 21. So my forecast is, honestly, it's going to be a challenging 23. You don't want to hunker down at a bunker. That's bullshit. You do that, you've given up. That's not America.
Well, I mean, maybe not hunker down, but what about getting chickens? I heard that if you want to create protein for sustenance, rabbits are better than chickens.
Believe it or not, that is true. Because rabbits make a lot more rabbits. You better good, sir.
And they're like less maintenance. So you can just fence them in, and
you can fence them in, but you're still gonna have problems with hawks and raccoons and eagles and coyotes and foxes. You name it, it's a problem.
But you don't have to like feed them, right? They just eat grass.
You still need to supplement them. It would be wise to, from that standpoint. But let's go backwards. So there's nothing wrong with having some food sustenance. Maybe it might be a little cleaner when you think about it, right? Less hormones, less BS in the food supply. You grow your own tomatoes. That's a win-win, man.
Okay, you're talking about plants, but do we get rabbits?
I don't see any reason why you would, as long as you're willing to prepare them. That's a challenge.
But we live near the Amish.
It's true. And they're very handy. I'll tell you what, we have a catastrophe. You know who's going to come up ahead?
Tim. Tim, do you eat your chickens?
We eat my chickens, yes, sir.
And how do you get them ready for supper? Do you take them to the Amish and pay $1, or?
Nope, we do it ourselves, man.
Okay, can you run me through that real quick?
You really don't want to know. It's kind of.
No, I do. Like, so how do you get the chicken? Do you shoot it?
No, you carry it over. You.
No, but how do you catch it?
Chickens are not that.
I see the thing. I'm not a farmer, Tim. So
Farmers,
what I see is like you open the gate and then you have to run and dive at the chicken.
Okay,
and try to.
Can I tell you the easiest way? You're gonna laugh. Ready?
When they're sleeping.
Nope. Get a crab net. I'm serious, man.
All right.
Okay. Chickens are funny. You can get them with a crab net in a heartbeat. So you scoop up your chicken with your crab net. You take them. You
All
turn
right. So
them.
hold on. So walk me through this, man. So you have a chicken pen and there's a bunch of chickens in there, and then you walk in there with the crab net. You have a broken hand. Are you scooping chickens currently?
Not right now. No, I'm not in the chicken preparation at the moment. So we're kind of going beyond this.
Do they know what you're doing when you get there? Like, is there like chickens, you walk in there and you normally have a bucket in your hand, and they're like, "Oh, Tim," and then you come in with the crab net, and they're like, "Oh,
they know." No, the chickens come over. They're like, "Hey, dude, how you doing, man? You got anything for me?" Then it's like I'm a dealer.
You scoop up like 8 of them. Do they start to catch on, or how does that work?
Nah, because you take one at a time. You take them over. And here's the key to chickens: you turn them upside down. Blood rushes to their heads, and they're like, "Chill." You know what I'm talking about? Like, hey.
All right. So you grab the chicken. You're holding it like this while it's.
I'm not holding it by the neck. No, I'm taking them. I'm putting them. You put them.
How do you hold it once you've got it in the crab net?
I just carry them under my arm, dude. The chickens are not that bad. They're pretty cool, actually.
So the face is sticking out.
Yeah.
And you're just holding it so it doesn't get away. Then you grab it
by
the
hold
feet.
them tight. When you hold them tight, they're chill. Then you take them, you turn them upside down by the feet. You put them into a little cone, like the cone of silence. Remember, Get Smart, but it's upside down. And then you nip their neck.
Okay. And then do you let it go and let it run around?
Nah, dude. No. You bleed them out, in essence.
You don't let them run around?
No, but believe it or not, when you take a chicken's head off, it will run around with its head.
I know. You don't ever let it run around.
No, not so much. It's a mess. That's messy. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you just hold it there.
Yeah.
All right. And then do we dip it in boiling water to get the feathers
water
off?
really quick. Yeah. Dip them in. There's a certain amount of time. They pull them back out really quick. And then you put them into either a plucker.
A plucker?
Yeah.
Is this an automatic feather plucker?
It's an automatic plucker, man. You pluck that baby really fast.
See, that's cheating.
No, it's not, dude. If you're going to do 25 or 30 chickens at a time, that is not cheating, Brian.
I would never pluck a chicken unless my life depended on it. So, what is how's the plucker work?
it's a spinning thing with fingers in it. Actually, they look like fingers. It's weird as hell, man. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, dude, what the hell? But it works,
All right, so you stick it. You don't have to pluck any feathers.
No, you pluck it and then you
comes
take
out
it
completely bald.
Yeah, you rinse it really quick, and then you basically you have to take out the guts, and then you put them in a little finger of ice, man. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, because you don't have to pluck the feathers off. That's the hardest part.
You don't have to pluck the feathers off. Then you take it, you take the entrails out. It's just like any other game animal.
So let's say, for instance, you walk into your yard with the crab net. How many minutes until it's on ice?
Honestly, if you have your system set up, in 10 minutes, start to finish. Yeah,
wow, that's interesting.
And remember, the chickens don't think, Brian. Remember, they don't have the same cognitive process that we do.
They know when you're running after them with the crab net, though.
You know what? It depends. If they're chill about it, if you're chill about it, they're gonna be cool. If you're used to feeding them and they're coming to you like, "Hey, you got some food for me today?" You're like, "Not today. I've got a special treat for you. It's called a sauna."
And then they're best friends, like squawking in this net.
Like,
you're carrying
what's wrong with Henry? Exactly.
I feel like by the time you get to the last 4 chickens, it's probably like they have PTSD.
They suspect something's up. They're like, "Where are our brothers and sisters? What the heck?"
And they're in that green net.
Just saying, But remember, you're not doing 15 at a time. You do one at a time. It's pretty easy, man.
So have you ever said like, "Hey, babe, let's chicken," and then you're like, "All right, give me like 10 minutes," and you just come back like iced chicken?
No, because it's a process. You got to set it up.
It takes 10 minutes.
Yeah, but there's a process of setting up the boiling water and then the scent of the finger. There's a process.
So you're not gonna do just one.
No, you're probably gonna do 20 to 30 at a time.
Oh, okay. So it's not like, "Hey, babe, let me get the."
No, this is not your grandmother's house. Exactly right. Okay. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you're saying we don't need to worry about it because it's not.
Don't need to get into chickens unless you really want fresh chicken.
When it is time, we're gonna go ahead and have you give us a better explanation.
Well, actually, we'll do a demonstration. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? This is how
I feel like I would try to go fishing, but the only
so it's the same process, right?
The only problem is I wouldn't want to eat any of the fish around here, so I feel like I would have to eat the chicken or the rabbit, and I'm just like, man, what if we get together and I help do fence posts and you do the chickens? That's what I'm saying.
That's a win-win, man. We'll have to talk about this.
All right, cool, man. Well, so is there any real estate news that is acute, or what is a better word for acute? Like right now?
Well, okay. So I do want to talk about 2 things. Okay. There is a very interesting phenomenon occurring right now, which is everybody's watching the news. And they're like, "Oh, you know what? More inventory is coming in the marketplace. It's more affordable." But it's not, is it? Right?
Who says that? Which news is? I don't watch the news, so who's saying?
No, you go into Google anything, man, and you get any twist and turn. Oh my goodness, like it's going out of style. Exactly right.
All right. So what you're trying to say though is like you're having people walk in your office, and they're saying like, "Oh, now we're going to get a deal," and you're like, "Exactly. Who told you that?" And they're like, "Google told me," and you're like, "They're liars."
And they're like, I make 60,000. I want to be a buy $300,000 or $400,000 house, and I'm just shaking my head saying,
"Well, it's not that. Is they want the payment to be 1,500," and you're like,
right. But they have to change their perspective to recognize what a house is. Everybody thinks a house is just a home. House is also an investment. It's like a 401k plan when you think about it, right? You're paying principal down. The biggest significant difference on a house versus rent, honestly, is the mortgage basically stays the same for 30 years. And after 30 years, it's gone. Rents go up and up and up and up and up. So it is pretty amazing for that standpoint. So it's kind of wild. It really is. So with that being the case, people need to look at that long-term cost perspective as well. So yes, the payment's going to be higher, but take into consideration when the rates do come down to the mid 4s, you're going to take advantage of the marketplace at that point in time. You're going to refinance, drop your payment, just be in a position, and you'll be happy.
All right. So is there any other news that's cutting edge? Anything that just popped up besides the currency thing we discussed? We discussed the banks 2 weeks ago.
Currency thing is huge. It really is. The other thing that I think is fascinating, if you look at the most recent news, unemployment is up. Job creation is down. We're starting to see the impact of what the Feds did. And that's something you need to keep in mind. Feds started cutting rates in July of last year, right? It's like a cruise liner. It takes 6 to 9 months to begin to see the impact of these cuts. And the
cuts rates. They didn't cut rates. They've been raising rates. You mean raising rates?
Raising rates and the impact it's having on the overall economy. And my point of the matter is this: is it's going to take time. This is a delayed process. That's why this whole circle is not going to change when they start cutting the rates in July of 2023. That's my prediction, by the way. Feds will start cutting rates 1 year after they started raising them. Okay, we won't see the positive impact until spring of 24.
Interesting. So the overall economy, you're saying concerning, but not anything that's going to be like,
I'm saying
you're not going to have to make any major lifestyle changes other than just budget, put some money aside, just be careful.
Yeah.
And as far as real estate, it's really going to be par for the course. There's not a lot of houses for sale because people are sitting on 3% interest rates and they don't want to take on a 6% interest rate. So it's about half as many houses selling as normally sell in the average market. And it's tough, but it's not impossible.
Exactly. And I want people to realize, and this is the key, ready? A lot of other people are getting burned out. They're giving up. Okay. They're going back to renting. And that to me goes back to my favorite for a person, Baron von Braun. Yes. The Baron.
Blood is in the streets.
Exactly right. It's time to take charge, man.
All right, Tim. Well, this is our first broadcast from our studio. I don't know if an echo is in this broadcast. I don't know if the video quality is good. I don't know how this is going to come out. I'm going to go back and watch it in my car as I drive home. But this is good stuff, man. Like,
dude, we're on it, man.
We're getting official now. We have real microphones. The videos, we're going to get it better. We're going to get some lights in here. We're going to try to beef it up a little bit. But the goal was for us to be able to be in the same room and to be able to hash it out, man. So I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you too. Hey, happy Easter, my friend.
Thank you. Happy Easter.
Have a good one.